Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the April 16, 2019 Board of Selectmen's meeting. Could I have a roll call, please?
All 5 selectmen are present, as well as town council.
Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see. You're it.
Okay, I'll do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very nice. Okay. Announcements. Alan?
Okay, Don't Trash Wareham, the event that we've been doing for about 5 or 6 years now, which has grown from about 5 people to about 400, is the 27th and 28th again. People will be out on the streets both those days. You'll be appreciated, trying not to run anybody over as they go by, which is always a joke at times sometimes. Their bags will be picked up as they're left bagged up. The people will come by and pick up the bags from everybody. And it would be nice if we could go a couple months without having to go back and do it again. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Manise? All right. Peter?
Just a reminder, town meeting is next Monday night, 7 o'clock, high school auditorium. Get there a little early so you can get checked in. Just like voting, they have to check you off on the street and the voter list. What?
Claire sent a note, I don't know if everybody got it, that there's no babysitting at the,
Right.
at the meeting this time because the school vacation or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So unlike the last time when the high school kids set up in the gym and took your little darlings off your hands, you're going to have to figure out your own way to have them watched, unless you're brave enough to leave them by themselves. But anyway, that starts at 7 o'clock. Get there a little early. This is your opportunity to weigh in on how your money is spent, how your laws are written, and a whole host of other things. So don't miss it and don't blow it.
Madam Clerk?
I have nothing.
Okay, I have one, and you beat me to it on the no brave babysitting. She made that clear to me.
Yeah,
To
she
make
did
sure
make
that
all of
everybody
us-
know that there will be no babysitting. So if you're going to town meeting, you gotta have your own babysitter. All right, the drop-in center is open this Wednesday between 5 and 8. It's at the Church of the Good Shepherd on High Street. Anybody having problems with drugs, alcohol, or related, or anyone who has somebody that they're dealing with that has those issues, you can get a lot of help up there. Make sure you drop in there and try to get some help. Next is citizens' comments. Is there anybody here to speak to us this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on. Board comments. Alan?
No, I'll do it later on.
Okay, Jim? Okay. Peter, nothing? Mary?
Nothing.
No, nothing for me either. Okay. Appointments and reappointments. Madam Clerk?
Okay. We have Laurie Benson here, up for her appointment for the Community Events Committee.
Okay. Is Laurie here?
No.
No.
Nope.
This is a reappointment.
You want to make a motion? You can just read it right off the top.
Yep, I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Laurie Benson as a member of the Community Events Committee for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2022.
Motion made by Mary, second by Alan. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
Okay, next up we have, nope,
More
sorry.
appointments in there?
Yep, sorry. This is my first time doing this, so.
There you
All right, next we have Nancy Sawyer. She wants to be appointed to the Council on Aging.
Okay,
Nancy
I
here?
don't see Nancy.
No? Okay, I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Nancy Sawyer as a member to the Council on Aging for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2023.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
All right, now we have Leonard Boughton,
Not here.
not here. Okay. I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Leonard Boughton as a member of the Historical Commission for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2022.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
Lastly, we have Christy Legue, appointment for the Cultural Commission, and Christy's not here as well. So I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Christy Legue as a member of the Cultural Commission for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2021.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, let's jump down to the Wareham Little League request to use town roads for their annual meeting. Come on down. Opening day, because he's here and we get him out of here. So he doesn't have to sit around here all day.
Thank you, Patrick.
So the parade day.
Fireworks.
It looks like Saturday, April 27th, and then the rain date is the 28th.
Yes.
Okay. So, one second, you're out of order here, so. Okay. I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the application for the Wareham Little League for use of the town roads for the annual opening day Little League Parade on Saturday, April 27th, 2019, with a rain date of April 28th, 2019.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, 500. You're all set.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
Trash bags.
Yeah.
Give him trash back.
Yeah, how's the
Trash
field
bags, they
looking?
can pick up trash on the way up
The
the
field
street.
is actually doing great. We just had our field cleanup this past weekend. We've done a lot of fixing up there, so there's a lot of.
Great shape.
We had everything painted uniformly. We had the town helped us out by donating some tar millings, so we leveled out the parking lot. So everything's in pretty good standings. So appreciate it.
Appreciate
Awesome.
what you guys do.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. All right, you want to do cats
All
here
right,
too?
now, we still have a little bit of time, so let's do Onset Bay Association. This is an application for Onset Bay Association, P.O. Box 799, Onset, Mass., for use of Shell Point Beach and the band shell for their annual fireworks festival on July 6th with a rain date of July 7th. Wanna Tell
Correct.
us about it, we get a little press while you're here?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, I would just like to congratulate you, Jim, on your new seat on the board. I haven't been before you in the new board. And congratulations, and also congratulations to you, Patrick, on your reelection. And thanks for sticking around, the rest of you. So, as you know, we have our annual fireworks display in Onset, scheduled for July 6th this year. We have sent in a $10,000 deposit. We've raised $27,000 and change of our $45,000 goal. The committee seems pretty committed to raising the rest of that money, and we have some fundraisers planned. I can send you news for your announcements, but we're going to do a comedy night in May. We have a canal cruise that's sold out in June, and our annual auction at the Mezzaluna, June 20th. Again, I'll send you notices for announcements and whatnot. We have a newer committee this year, a lot of new folks that stepped up to the plate, which is really nice to see, folks that have never done this before and are really enthusiastic and motivated to keep the fireworks going. We'll see how long we can keep it going.
Go.
It's a lot of work to raise $45,000.
Always is, yeah.
And it's been a community effort thus far and will continue to be so. So,
It's awesome.
yeah,
You guys are great.
thanks.
All right, can I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the application for the Onset Bay Association to use town property, including the Onset Band Shell and Shell Point for the Onset Fireworks and Festival on July 6, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., with a rain date of July 7th, 2019.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
Why don't you introduce the nice people who came up with you?
I will. So to my left, we have Millie and Jeff Burrows. They are the chair folk for the Onset Chock Full of Fun Street Painting Festival, which is going to take place on August 17th this year. I believe it's your sixth.
It's our 6th year.
Our sixth annual Chalk Fest, as we affectionately call it. And we were all asked to come before you to speak on that just a little bit. So I'm going to let Millie and Jeff take over on that,
Okay.
I guess. Bless you.
All right, so it is on the 17th of August with a rain date on the 18th. I noticed on the minutes that it does say that we're shutting down a part of Union Ave, and that's not accurate. We use Waban at the top of the bandshell area. We typically draw about 200 artists on the pavement, and we have a craft fair going on around the perimeter of the sidewalks and the walkways that wind through the park. We have music in the afternoon. It's an acoustic musician. Peter Munt is returning. He was with us 2 years ago, and he's back by popular demand. This year, our theme is marine life, and we're partnering with the high school. We have some art students who are going to help design a grid for a group project, which will be a sea turtle that'll be chalked on a hard surface. And we are partnering with, through the Audubon Society, with the Wildlife Sanctuary, as well as Buzzards Bay Coalition, and possibly the Marine, what do they call it?
National
Marine
Marine
Life
Life
Center in Buzzards Bay, to bring some educational information about sea turtles and their plight, and some hands-on models for kids to touch and learn from. So that's how we try to incorporate a little educational piece between that and the math that's involved in doing the grid for the group design. So it's a fun day. We hope it's sunny. And do I need to do anything to fix that correction on the,
It's Waban Ave, you said?
is it street or Ave?
It's Waban Ave.
Okay, we'll fix it.
We'll
Yeah.
fix it.
Okay.
We typically,
All right.
yeah, Union
The
Ave
police-
is completely accessible and open. It's just, we have a lot of folks crossing Waban Ave to get from the registration table to the sidewalk, which hasn't typically been a problem. I know Chief Walsek was concerned about enforcing a detail for it, but he was trying to avoid that.
And typically what they do is they set up the barriers just to close off that part of the street on the top and the bottom. And that's worked well.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
You gonna vote on
You
that?
gonna approve that first?
Can I make the motion?
Okay, I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the application for the Onset Bay Association for the use of town property, including the Onset Bandshell and Bluffs, and a closed-off portion of Waban Ave for the Chock Full of Fun Street Painting Festival on August 17th, 2019, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., with a rain date of August 18th, 2019.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
And feel free to make donations at onsetbay.org and go to our donations page, and you can make a donation to just about any event that we put on. onsetbay.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is we have a public hearing on the application of Daniel Ward, Ward Aqua Farms LLC for Shellfish Grant Number W2. Come on down.
Yeah.
So, we did have a couple of questions that came up.
Okay. Open the hearing.
Yeah, somebody needs to open the hearing.
Okay, I move to open the public hearing on the application of Daniel Ward, Ward Aqua Farms LLC for Shellfish Grant W2.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Need a
Do I hear a
second?
second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Alan. This is roll call. Alan?
Yes.
Mr. Muniz? Peter?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Patrick, yes. Okay, the hearing's open. Okay, so the questions that came up, one of which is that the gentleman owns the boatyard, but he's not a resident of the town. And you've held people pretty strictly to being residents for aquaculture.
This is a little bit different than the normal aquaculture that we have, where our aquaculture farms are growing out shellfish to actually sell.
Okay.
This is operating just as a hatchery. He's actually spawning shellfish to the point where it's,
I see.
I don't know how big you're gonna be growing to, but, and then from there, it's sold out to farmers such as the Suttards and the different aquaculture.
Okay, so he's
farms.
not actually selling anything, he's just growing the seed.
Growing the
basically.
seed and selling the seed.
I see. Okay, so,
Hopefully selling the seed, yeah.
so there's nothing retail at all?
No, nothing consumable.
And is there going to be any issues relevant to the notification that everybody talks about? I know that you're working on some regulations for that.
For the aquaculture regulations?
For the grants, in other words, we had some individuals, and you were working on some of those
Correct.
regulations to notify people in advance that we were going to be changing these, because all of this grant's been laying dormant, is that?
Well, this isn't even a shellfish grant. This is just a formality that the state requested
Okay.
to cover his operation.
Okay.
So this, I believe, Mr. Ward is his abutter and his other abutter. So there's
So
no
he's his
other-
own abutters?
He's his own abutters, and I don't,
Well,
there's
that's a good
nothing, there's
thing.
nothing closer to,
All right, awesome.
even within that
Beautiful,
buffer zone.
that ends the problems, then
Yeah, I
we
think
can
so.
deal with it. Absolutely, okay. All right, so is, anybody have any questions that they want to ask?
No.
No?
Yeah, I was looking at your layout here. I'm sorry.
Gotta lean forward.
Pull that right to you.
I was looking at your layout, your map, and I don't see the datum on the map. I just see the floats on the pier. And also, I'm wondering if your slips are gonna disappear, the number of the slips that you're gonna have for the boatyard in relation to the units that you're gonna be using for your aquaculture growth.
The datum should be on there. This was an engineered drawing by GAF Engineering.
And
And
I
it's,
was looking for the degrees and minutes, which was how it was expressed in the paper. So I can tell where you're gonna have it, but I'm
oh,
not
that was in a
seeing-
different form. So when I turned in the packet, it was like about this thick. It was in a different one. So it's not on that sheet, but if there was another one that was probably either the
We have
page
the whole thing.
prior or the page after, that looks much more like a photograph, and that has all of the coordinates of the entire reconfiguration zone.
Here it is, here.
It looks more like a photo, yeah, exactly, that might be it. And then actually, there's a larger photograph of that further back in that document as well, but
So you're gonna use all the slips?
no. I mean, that'd be nice, but that would make me the largest hatchery probably in the country. So, no, that's not the intent. So, when you're producing shellfish, it's essentially a four-step process. So the first step happens inside a building where you take the mom oyster and the dad oyster, put them together and make the larvae, which swims around in tanks. So that's the first step and lasts for about 4 weeks or so. The second step is where you take the tiny, tiny oysters that are maybe 1 millimeter and grow them up to 1 inch or so. And that's the second step, and that's what would happen in the slips. Step 3 is where you grow them for that first year in like the floating bags and the cages that you've probably seen around town, what people normally think of as aquaculture. And then you have to find something to do with them over the winter. In intertidal areas up Cape, they pit them, take them off the lease and pit them. Typically in Wareham, they sink the gear to the bottom so that it's not exposed to the ice. And then in the fourth phase is growing them to 3 inches, and you can sell them for people to eat. So typically when people think of aquaculture, it's really steps 3 and 4. So it's very visible, takes up a lot of acreage, and usually has a lot of visible gear, and that's the type of things that people oppose to, generally speaking. This is very much unlike that. It's not going to have any of that gear that you recognize, no bags, no cages, no floating anything. And everything that will be happening hatchery-wise is inside that building. So it's the building that's been there since at least the 70s, known as the Wareham Boatyard and Marina. The hatchery is inside that building. So there'll be no outside structures at all for the first phase. The second phase, which is the nursery phase, almost always, obviously there's exceptions to everything, but almost always happens in marinas. Because what you need is an area where you can put what's called an upweller, right? So the town has, you have 2?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so you have 2 that are adjacent to the onset pier, the exact same thing that I have. The exact same thing. So it's about 8 feet wide, 20 feet long, made out of wood, with doors on it. So that when you're walking by it, a normal person walking by this would have no idea that there's anything going on. It just looks like a swim platform. But then you can open it up, and in there is a pump and different silos and different ways to manipulate flow so that you can get the best possible environmental conditions for your seed so it grows quickly. So those swim platforms, they look like swim platforms, they're about 8 by 20 feet made out of wood, just like that, would be located. Yeah, would,
You
yeah.
got one in the water already, got a couple up on
Yep,
Sure.
yep. So that would be when they're filled with shellfish and on, with pumps on them. Those would go into the slips. So those 12 slip locations are the potential locations. So right now, I only have one. But the idea is that instead of having to come back and be permitted every single time I want to put in a second one or a third one, to do all the permitting ahead of time. And so that depending on what slips are rented for boats, I can move it around. I'm not stuck to one particular location. So any of those 12 locations could have a upweller in them, but this year it would just be one in one of those 12 locations. So the marina is permitted for 50 slips. Now it will have 49 boats and one upweller, or ideally.
the increase in the number.
No increase in the size or configuration of the marina.
Thank you.
All right,
That would require
Peter.
an amendment of your chapter, your waterways license anyway.
Correct.
If you were to change the number of slips, which isn't before us at this time anyway.
Well, this is a modification of use.
Right.
So this requires, DEP, Army Corps.
Yeah, but as far as we're concerned, you're not modifying the actual layout of the marina, so that's all we would care about
Nope.
at this level.
Nope.
Okay, Peter, any questions from you? No. Mary?
I don't have any.
All right, then we can close the public hearing.
Okay, I move to close the public hearing on the application of Daniel Ward, Ward Aqua Farms LLC for Shellfish Grant W2.
Motion to close by Mary, seconded by Alan. Okay, that requires a roll call.
Yes.
Alan, Jim,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Patrick, yes, okay. Any discussion? I'll take a motion.
I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the application for Daniel Ward, Ward Aqua Farms LLC for Shellfish Grant W2.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Is any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
Thank you very much.
Good luck
Thank
growing the
you.
babies.
Thank you.
Okay, application for a change of beneficial interest for Red Robin International.
Do we have anybody here for that?
No, there's no one here. This is pretty.
They have a new
standard.
president and CEO.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. It's a pretty standard thing. We just approve it usually.
Okay. I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the application for change of beneficial interest from Red Robin International, Inc., DBA Red Robin America's Gourmet Burgers and Spirits as presented.
Okay, motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, town business, request from Don't Trash Wareham to place signs on town property. Do you have that in there somewhere?
Yes, I do. Which one? Thanks.
You'll get the
Getting
hang
there.
of this,
I
believe me.
know, I know. Okay, I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the request from Don't Trash Wareham to place signs on town property.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. He's having a ball over there tonight.
He is.
Seconded by Alan. Is there any discussion? All in
Yeah.
favor, say aye.
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 Oh, is there some discussion, Jim?
We need to make sure that we specify to everybody going forward about, you can't put signs on utility poles, trees that are,
Stop
town. Any state property, we don't have the authority to give you that,
Right.
except like on Route 6 and 28. And then also, if the sign bylaw gets updated at town meeting, that's going to affect things as well.
Maybe we should, I know Mary was going to look into creating a list. Maybe we should wait until the town meeting vote and then go from there.
Well, I'm just making notes what's in place right now.
Right.
That's fine. Okay, thank you. All right, all
Did we
in
vote?
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
Another
Okay,
sign
next
request,
up.
too.
Oyster.
Next up would be the Oyster Festival.
Signs.
Request for Wareham
I'll have
Oyster
to
Same- it's in the
Festival,
same folder.
to place signs on town property.
Oh, it's not in there.
It should be.
It's all right.
It's right down here.
Okay, got it.
They're both in the same person, so.
All right. I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the request from the Wareham Oyster Festival to place signs on town property.
Second, with the same stipulations I made earlier.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain, it's unanimous, 500. Okay, so, did everybody get a chance to look at the liaison assignments, and is anybody prepared to talk about it this evening?
I have one I didn't realize I was somehow switched over to, which was CPC.
Yeah,
And since my wife is chair, it's a lot easier for me not to be there for that.
okay, so we need.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder for the rest of us to be there, so
Well,
there's a
sorry.
cost-benefit analysis to be had here, I think.
We need somebody else, and since Jim doesn't have any right this minute.
Well, Jim has all of
He has all of
Well, I
Tony's.
Tony's.
no.
Tony had the
I put
planning
a list
board.
together, and I can send that to you.
Okay,
I put a list together, and I can send it to you, Patrick.
Okay.
And,
the ones
Take a
you think you
look
could
at it.
handle?
yeah, I think ones that were fitting and that, some
Okay.
of the things I wanted to do, and some of them Tony had, and the one that you just suggested. I questioned it and, you know, because of what you said, you know, with your wife being the chair,
I
and
have no idea how many names right there.
I don't know. Take
All
a,
right, so why don't you send me that list? Does anybody else want to change or give up anything? that
Why don't we
they
see what Jim wants?
have? All right, so why
We
don't
should,
you
we
send
should
me
let
the
him
list?
kind of stir the pot here, I think. He's
Send me
coming
a
in with
list and
fresh eyes.
I'll put this on the,
Thank you.
I'll put this on for finalization the first meeting after town meeting, okay?
okay,
All right? And that way we'll be able to move forward.
thank you.
All right, no problem. Okay, discussion of liaison, we did that. Any other town business not reasonably anticipated, Alan?
No.
Jim? 48-hour business.
No, no.
Peter?
None.
Go ahead.
Mary?
Nope.
Not me either, okay. Next up, town administrator, he's out today, so we'll move on to
He has
liaison reports.
He had some stuff for capital planning.
He did, and he's gonna
Have
have,
to wait till Monday.
he'll have it on Monday. I already talked about it with him. So we'll have to deal with it on Monday, that's all we can do. Liaison reports, Alan.
Let's see,
It's good with you on the end like that, so we get you out of the way early.
that could take forever if you want. It's pleasant down here, actually. It's peaceful and quiet. ZBA met last Wednesday on the ongoing saga of the parking at Verilife, et cetera. The hearing was continued for 2 more weeks, of the process, basically. They're asking for a traffic study. The chairman of the ZBA really felt the traffic study was going to come in with a negligible result, but they're looking at that. We're in a simple situation, hopefully it will be reported correctly, that we have the opportunity of having them, and the town is not doing this, this is being done by the person who owns the property at the Baker property, offering to help out a little bit. And I want to make it very clear also that the 2 signs that are on town property are on town property because the police department, when they went to Leicester, when we had the disaster initially with the first 2 marijuana clinics, with both Northampton and Leicester were virtually gridlocked, and everything came to a halt. John Walczek went out 2 or 3 different times, sat with the company they hired to try and fix the mess, and came back and said, we're going to have signage to direct people what to do. So those 2 signs are paid for the marijuana company, you know, Verilife, but they're there at the request of the town's police department for traffic safety. It gets very frustrating sometimes when I see people complaining that the town is facilitating a business or allowing them to do things where they don't do it normally. It's not the case. This was done strictly for the safety of the public and for our merchants downtown, et cetera. So I'll make that very clear because we get misinformation, as people call it, false news in the newspapers. It just doesn't come out clear a lot of the times. So I've been banging away at that for quite a while now. The end result is that we have this opportunity for a short-term use of the parking area if the Conservation Commission has no issues with the parking, the way it's going to be put together. We have the opportunity of a long-term development there, which has been committed to by actually, I believe the newspaper referred to Dan Willis as the son. Mr. Willis is the son-in-law. Hope you'll correct that. He's been given control of the property at this point in time for his father-in-law. The goal, again, I'll repeat, is a 16 or 15 slip marina, which is approved by Army Corps of Engineers after a long battle back and forth, probably at least 7 or 8 years ago, maybe even longer. The permit's in place. The other piece is that they want to put what he's considering a high-end restaurant. He also wants to put in some light marine, possible manufacturing, which is ideal for the site, which really happened years ago on that site, actually. Whether he develops it or he hires a developer to do it, that's the game plan. So everybody's complaining about a parking lot. It's only temporary. It's the best source. The other choice we have is that Verilife could tomorrow say, we're not going to do the shuttle anymore. People can, it's 30 or 40 cars at a time anyways. They can park downtown Merchants Way, Main Street, and walk over. There's nothing the town really can do about it per se, because it's public parking. So our best choice is, option one. Option B is what's there. I know what will happen is we'll get phone calls, the 5 of us, from merchants complaining about, I can't park my car where my business is, my customers can't get in. So I just want to make it clear that I understand, the concern people have who live on Lower Main Street about not wanting, people basically going and buying marijuana products and hanging around. But the way this is set up, it's not going to happen. You just can't, because it's police detail, et cetera.
Well, I think, don't you think that if it's that close to downtown, that people might actually walk around, maybe visit some of the businesses, which they don't do now at all?
Yeah, but I'm not sure how much we're going to get out of it, strictly because people come in, they're there to buy the marijuana, get in their car and go. They're really not hanging around per se.
Well,
You would
that's
hope it would
because
be
they had to go in the shuttle and
Yeah.
go all the way back, but now where they're right there, who knows?
I know what you're saying, but I think it'd be very negligible, unfortunately.
Well, we can hope that we'll
We
get
would
some of
hope
the...
if it ends up
some
that
of
way
the
it does.
Merchants could get some business out of it.
But, it'd be the same thing. If you went there, if you were parking just across the street, you could walk over to downtown if you really wanted to go get something to eat. It's a short distance. It's just the cleanest way. I
Yeah,
know what you're looking at, but I just want to make it clear that,
yeah.
we have 2 choices. One is reasonable and the other one is just not going to work as well. So that's what's going on there. As you know, last week I mentioned about the minor school project and how they wanted to pay their bills and stuff without proper supervision and proper checking and people having actual expertise in what actual repair bills are, what the maintenance is and all these other things. So Mr. Pigeon from the Finance Committee and I'm not sure what else, they basically got together and they're going to form a three-person committee that has to sign and vet all the bills.
Right.
So coming forward, because we have to sign at the end, and I'm personally not willing to sign millions of dollars worth of expenses when I don't know what I'm really signing.
Well, but the good news is, too, they have a super that'll be paying attention as well, so
Again,
that will be
nothing
on the
against us.
site, so.
Again,
Because, materials have to be matched up, make sure the right materials, the stuff that's spec'd, all that. So he'll be there, too, going through that.
I just refer back to my time when I was involved a little bit with the Big Dig. I know what happened. I don't trust anyone, I'm sorry.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, having the 3-panel thing is fine, but, most of the people that are on that panel don't really know what's going on the site. I mean, they're...
That's why I didn't want to sign
So
it.
it's problematic. Although they'll get to look at it and they can at least ask the questions.
Well, they're actually going to put people on that have some construction basis to it.
Well, and they'll have the super there who is our super, not, he works for us, so hypothetically, he's supposed to make sure that happens, and I do that, so I hope that he does it properly.
Well, you're on
If he
that.
doesn't, I'm on that committee, so I would probably have something to say about him not doing it.
Hope so. Last thing is the Head Start program, which is important to the town of Wareham. We mentioned last week very quickly that the program has been taken over by an interim firm because the Head Start program in Wareham was taken away from the firm running it. We don't know if they're going to stay in the Oak Grove School. Mr. Sullivan made arrangements for them to also look at the new group as a temporary piece there, to come in and look at the East School as a possibility. So they were there on Thursday. We'll see if they have any funds or money available to do some remediation in that school if it goes that way. But we're trying to keep that program here in Wareham. And we'll have some better ideas, but we had a meeting on that as well. Thank
Okay,
you.
Peter? No, Jim?
Well, I don't have any official committees, but I too was at the zoning board of appeals hearing. So whatever the decision comes down to, I just hope it's done in a tasteful manner, some landscaping around the parking lot, somehow to control the foot traffic so they're not crossing everywhere, maybe put some split rail fencing or something, so it's attractive if it's gonna get stuck there so the people that live there, you know, don't have an eyesore to look at. That's what I would like to see.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they're listening.
Well,
Usually do.
thank you.
Peter?
I don't think I have anything.
And Mary?
I have nothing.
And I have nothing tonight, so we're gonna move on. The consent agenda, do we have, it looks like we have some minutes. We don't have a bill from our illustrious attorney? How is that possible? You must be-
Working for free.
You're working for free again?
We are so blessed.
You gotta be a couple of months behind.
No. The vacation.
He waits till the wife bounces a check and then...
He's busy.
Actually, I think that he brought a few
And then the
checks to the
mushroom
kids.
cloud
already.
rises over the house and we get a bill.
Minutes. I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the meeting minutes from April 2nd, 2019, and we're all here except for Jim.
Okay,
Second.
a motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain.
I abstain.
Okay, so 4-0-1. All right, that's terrific. Next would be a motion to adjourn.
So
Any-
made.
Motion made by Alan,
Second.
seconded by Mary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, thank you, Wareham. Have a great week.
Remind everybody that